When I first visited Rwanda, I found a place that is colorful and vibrant and filled with hope for the future. It is a place so special and unique that I felt I had to share this experience with others. In this episode, I go back to the land of 1,000 hills, bringing with me an adventurous band of travelers who will brave mud, swamp, and jungle to find the most magnificent creatures on Earth and get to know the incredible story of Rwanda and its people. Together with a group of friends, we traveled from Manila to the lush green hills of Kigali, Rwanda's capital. We were all welcomed by my dear friend Eugene, whom I was with in my last adventure. We were eager to begin this new one as we drove into the city. It was great to be back as I see Kigali's development continue. Voted many times as Africa's cleanest city, you will find new and uncluttered streets. They also implemented a lot of green initiatives, including banning plastic in the whole country altogether. But of course, the nation cannot escape its tragic history. I believe it was necessary to begin our journey here at the Kigali Genocide Memorial to have a full understanding of Rwanda's story. In 1994, some 800,000 Rwandans lost their lives in an orchestrated genocide brought about by economic and political upheavals and ethnic tension. We also dropped by the Hotel de Mille Collines, which translates to the Hotel of 1,000 Hills, made famous by the movie Hotel Rwanda. Here, 1,268 people sought refuge during the genocide under the protection of its manager, Paul Rusesabagina. But despite the challenges that come with healing, Rwanda has managed to rise above its tragic past. The events of 1994 have become a constant reminder of the importance of unity and acceptance in a diverse society, a truth that every Rwandese holds on to. Armed with this knowledge, we continue our journey to explore the rest of the country. From Kigali, our journey will take us to the savanna and wetlands of Akajira before we head to the thick rainforest of Lungwe. We then end our journey in the volcanic mountains of Virunga, where we will come face to face with the magnificent mountain gorillas. Driving through Rwanda's countryside, you will find lush hillsides undulating with terraced farms. Hard-working people till the land, as agriculture continues to contribute a large part of the country's economy. After a 2-hour drive, we reached the Akajira National Park. At the entrance, we were already greeted by some of the park's residents. We stayed at a peaceful hilltop resort overlooking Lake Ihema. Akajira is one of Africa's oldest national parks and also a story of survival in itself. Suffering the effects of the war and genocide, Akajira became a settlement for refugees, and poachers roamed the lands. Timber was cut down, and wildlife was almost hunted down to extinction. Thankfully, the authorities were able to mitigate the destruction of the park. Today, 20 years later, biodiversity has been restored and the animals enjoy a protected sanctuary. With 3 SUVs, our group drove around to see the diverse wildlife in the park. From Cape buffalo, giraffes and zebras, to primates and bird life. Impalas and topi roam the plains. The great thing about Akagera is that there are still more animals than tourists, which allows you to drive leisurely and appreciate the amazing scenery. We picked a spot in the grassland where we can stop and have some lunch.
This will be our picnic lunch place. Imagine having lunch and while the giraffes are looking at you and while the zebras are walking by. Perfect place.
I could not imagine a more perfect spot for a picnic as well as photo ops. We continued to drive, and out from the bushes peeks an African elephant. They may be big, but they are incredibly hard to spot. Imagine our surprise when we saw this big herd of elephants just walking past us. There must be at least 30 elephants in this herd, with a lot of young. It was an amazing sight to see these magnificent creatures in such big numbers, and very promising for the future of the park. Akagera is a savanna, but it's dominated by swamps and small lakes scattered in the area. That afternoon, we were up for a different kind of safari.
We're in Lake Ehema and we're going to do our first boat ride today just to see the wild animals.
Lake Ehema is Rwanda's second largest lake and a very important water source for the large mammals in the park. It also supports a big diversity of bird life. The papyrus swamps provide aquatic birds a supply of food and nesting grounds. As we glided through the glassy waters of the lake, there was always anticipation for what we will see next. Like this huge mouth popping out of the water. Hippos. The third largest mammal in the world, hippos can weigh as much as a small aircraft. They can spend 16 hours of the day in the water, huddled in groups. They share the riverbanks with another heavyweight, the Nile crocodile, Africa's largest and a formidable predator. These crocs can attack buffaloes and wildebeests. He seems to be coming towards us. Thankfully, he was not hungry. It was a great afternoon seeing these amazing creatures up close and with a company of good friends. Up next, from the savannah, we make our way to the tea plantations and forests of Nyungwe, where the serious hiking begins in search of small monkeys and big apes. From the wetlands of Akagera, we drive to Nyungwe in the southwestern part of Rwanda. The lush hillsides were blanketed in tea leaves, leading to the Nyungwe National Park. Our lodge was in the midst of a peaceful setting, surrounded by dramatic hues of green. We relished the unhurried pace of our stay, as we needed the energy for the next few days' hiking activities. Rwanda's fertile volcanic soil and cool climate create the perfect conditions for growing tea. This is where today's hike begins, as we search for one of newest resident primates, the colobus monkey. We navigated the rows of tea plants over the rolling landscape. The tea pickers were already hard at work, starting early in the day. Our mission was to find the colobus monkeys living on a patch of forest next to the plantation. Finally, we come upon a troop of these black and white critters.
This group is about 40.
So each group is about 20 to 40?
20 to 40, but we have another big group of this colobus monkey, which has 700 in numbers.
Wow, that's a lot.
Yeah.
Colobus monkeys spend most of their lives on top of trees, hardly ever going down to the ground. They are well suited for canopy living. They can leap from tree to tree with their long hair acting like a parachute. Their populations are vulnerable because of habitat loss and predators in the forest.
And they have so many predators. They have chimpanzee who can just eat them. We have also the big eagles. The eagle also catching them. We have also the big cats.
What kind of cat?
Like black panthers.
Oh, you have black panthers
We
here?
have a black panther.
We were lucky enough to find a baby colobus monkey with its all-white fur. The whole troop takes care of the young. The hike wasn't bad at all. We even had some energy left to play around in the tea fields. Nyungwe is a special place. Its forest is believed to have remained lush green even through the Ice Age, creating a sustained biodiversity. We were up early the next day, and together with Daniel, our guide, we set out to find a more elusive primate. He promised us unguaranteed sightings in a difficult hike, but we were sure it would be worth it to be able to catch a glimpse of our closest living relative, the chimpanzee. We began our trek into the thick rainforest. Chimpanzees cover a large area in search of food compared to other apes, moving fast on top of the trees or on the ground, making them difficult to find.
But we have one leader who is our family. He's the one who decides when to go, where to go, and how. So that's why it has they have different sounds they make.
Can you teach me some of those sounds? What does it mean?
Okay, to informing the others where they are.
I see.
Yeah.
For long-distance communication, they make use of these trees.
The males, they like coming and scream and beat on these buttresses. You may think that are drums. They're very so loud.
Daniel did not lie about the difficulty of the trek, but following their calls, we seem to be closing in on them.
We can hear them, so we're trying to keep our voices very low.
Finally, we spot them on top of the trees. It's a whole troop having breakfast. Their diet consists of fruits, leaves, and blossoms. Occasionally, they hunt for small monkeys.
And remember, chimpanzees are close to human beings because we share 98% of our DNA material. They are just intelligent.
Young chimps depend on their mother until 5 years of age, just like a human child. Friendships are also formed among chimpanzees. Grooming is a favorite social activity. They have very similar bone, muscle, and brain structure as humans. They also have the ability to reflect on their own thoughts, feeling joy, fear, sadness, and empathy.
This has certainly been a very interesting 1 hour for the chimps. It's amazing how they just jump in front of you and you're not ready with your camera. And they're just coming from one tree to the other. Listen to the sound. So what do you think, Stella? Is that something that it's totally different than seeing it in the zoo, right?
Of course. It's totally worth all the ant bites I got.
Well, I'm getting some insect bites myself. I don't know, Kim, are you okay?
Yeah, I'm good.
You're okay with the walk?
Yeah.
I was worried that you are only used to walking in the mall. You might be having a difficult time.
You're not wrong, but it's 10 kilometers small.
Joy, are you having fun?
Yeah.
You're not tired? Okay. Every day we'll walk, we'll go hiking and look for chimps.
Meeting these creatures who see the world just as we do is a truly rewarding experience. Up next, we make our way to the volcanic range of Virunga, learning more about Rwanda's rich traditions before trekking to find the magnificent mountain gorillas. From Niue, we drive up the mountain roads to our next destination. This area is the most mountainous in Rwanda, where 5 of the 8 volcanoes making up the Virunga mountain range can be found. Despite the terrain, agriculture thrives in abundance, with produce filling the market. Potatoes are grown in big plantations and are a profitable crop. Aside from agriculture, the area's main economic resource is tourism, driven mainly by the special wildlife found here. We made our way to Volcanoes National Park, home to 2 unique primate species endemic to the area, the golden monkeys and the mountain gorillas.
This morning, we look for golden monkeys. It's not as difficult as the hike yesterday, but we still enter the reserve and hopefully I can survive this one again.
We hiked to the edge of the park, bordering some farmlands. We soon found ourselves inside a thick bamboo forest.
These golden monkeys like bamboo shoots. That's why we're walking in this forest of bamboos.
One of the rarest species in the world, golden monkeys can only be found in the high-altitude forests of the Virunga mountain range. Tumbling and jumping about, they are very sprightly and entertaining to watch as they feed in the mesh of bamboo.
They say this family is a group of about 120. Oh, here's another one. Looks like a friendly fellow. Funny looking face. Maybe he probably thinks I'm funny looking too.
Their bronze-colored backs contrast with the bamboo as they flit around.
The golden monkeys are normally up on the trees, but this time of the year, there are bamboo shoots on the ground, and they enjoy that. That's why they're on the ground, pulling out some bamboo shoots.
Sadly, these creatures are highly endangered because of habitat loss. But thankfully, tourism is now creating a lot of awareness and protection for the rare golden monkeys. For a period of time, poaching was a way of life in Virunga, and the wildlife and ecosystem suffered much. In the last 20 years, a big shift happened, and locals have embraced the commitment to preserve their wildlife, environment, as well as their heritage and culture. This is the mission of the Gorilla Guardians Village, a cultural village run by former poachers and the local community. I was glad to be back and was happy to share with the villagers their video from my previous visit. It was an immersive cultural experience into village life, teaching everything from hunting, traditional medicine, to beer brewing, and even wedding customs. The locals were warm and welcoming, and we all had fun learning about Rwanda's vibrant and colorful culture. The next day was filled with anticipation, as it was finally time for us to see the mountain gorillas. I was glad to see my friend Emmanuel again, who took me on my first gorilla experience a few years back, and will be guiding us on this trek. Everybody listened intently during the briefing.
4 months ago, we come up with a new census where we counted 1,004 mountains.
Wow, that's a lot.
Still within 3 countries. So 1,000 is still small, but at least
It's growing.
It's growing. So we have a lot of babies. You understand the silverbacks are doing good job. Oh, this is too much jig.
Very busy. That's what I learned from you.
Yeah, yes. And we are going to see a gorilla family called Agasha with the 24 individuals. And Agasha means special.
We began our trek passing through farmlands and meeting some of the locals.
So at this point, we start entering the reserve, and it's very noticeable because there's a stone fence. And once we're up there, we get a chance to meet the other trackers, and we start tracking the gorillas.
Depending on where the gorillas nested for the night, the hike can take a few hours. We found ourselves struggling through thick mud and jungle while avoiding stinging nettles and low-hanging branches.
I know they're not that poisonous, but they hurt. So you better don't touch them.
It was tiring, but Emmanuel lightened up the mood by teaching us about edible vegetation and sharing his gorilla stories.
Good.
It's good.
Yeah, the juice is really good.
To say when the gorilla comes to you, you can always say, means I'm part of your family, I'm not afraid. 3 months ago, and Mr. David, I'll never forget him. We were visiting and the silverback was charging. When he charges, we were all on the ground, and he was breaking all the trees. And then David was behind me. He remembered I said you can say for cooling him down.
Yes.
But he was panic, and he was trying to say, but he said. So please, if you're not good at it, it's better to be quiet. Eugene and I will try to speak in your behalf.
Despite the exhaustion, we pushed on and kept climbing higher, eager to see the mountain gorillas. Their home is so lush and beautiful, and we couldn't wait to meet them.
We're on top of the mountain, actually. If you take a look, it's just valleys, huh? Almost at the peak.
As we got into a clearing, we were caught by surprise as they passed in front of us one by one.
Wow. Wow.
Oh my
Those
God.
silverbacks, now you can see all of them.
It was amazing to be in their presence, close enough to observe them and their behavior.
When the babies, they're more than 4 years, they start being independent. So these are juveniles, they be climbing the bamboos. They are very naughty.
I like to adopt this little kid. He's the foolish one.
This is the mama, and she's a pregnant. there's one who's alpha, a president, a king. So all the ladies in a group supposed belong to that dominant silverback. But the gorillas, they respect the father, the old, until he dies.
So he can still be with the family.
Oh, yeah, he will be in the family.
But
they
no
respect
more.
him as a papa all his life.
So the young kids will always respect the mother also, huh?
Oh yes, they respect each other. They are very strong community. They love each other so much.
We could just spend time with them all day, appreciating how they are so much like us.
What do you guys think? How's this experience for you, Kim?
Yes, it's spiritual. It will only happen It's a very nurturing experience.
You do it once in your life.
Yeah, that's what I keep on telling everybody, at least once. No?
Yes. You don't need pictures. I am so overwhelmed. Wow.
I can never get tired of this. It's so nice to be back. This is something I can do over and over again, never get tired of. And I'm very happy to share this with friends. It's something that I cannot explain. There's so much joy in seeing and being able to give that kind of experience and happiness to other people.
Before we knew it, the hour was up. But the memory of this encounter will be with us for a lifetime. As we spent our last night in Kigali, we look back at our journey through Rwanda. This land of 1,000 hills has 1,000 stories to tell of its heritage, its people, its wildlife. It was a trip worth doing over and over again because it is a story of healing, of acceptance, and unity. Made more meaningful when you are with the right company.
This has been your captain, Joy Roa. See you in the next Asian Air Safari.